विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सकगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्वकारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita. So now we are in the third chapter, that is Sunday morning and Sunday morning India time and Saturday evening US time every week. So we are in the third chapter. We are going to successfully finish the third chapter today. So that is Karma Yoga. So in Karma Yoga, Krishna is asking us to perform our duty by controlling our working senses with the help of mind. So, yastvindriyani manasa niyamya arabate Arjuna. Karmendriyaihi karma yogam asaktaga savisisyati. So, with mind, we should regulate our working senses. So, yastvindriyani manasa niyamya arabate Arjuna. That's what is known as karma yoga. So, karmendriya, niyamya arabate, karmendriya. Karmendriya means working senses. So, with the help of our mind, we should control our working senses. So, that means the sense of, like, with our hands, whatever we do with our hands, and whatever we do with our legs, and with our head, like with our voice, neck, everything, whatever we do, because these are, we are moving. We are able to move our head, we are able to rotate our head, we are able to turn this side or turn that side, we are able to talk, we are able to produce sound, and so that way, and then the genital and also the anus. So all these are all working senses. It is known as voluntary movement. That's what is known as voluntary movement. So that means we want to move and we are able to move. So that's why they are called working senses. So in our body, there are senses, they are working without our, that they are known as involuntary actions. So, like other organs in our body, for example, our heart is pumping. That means our heart is pumping in the sense it is actually working. Our heart is working, pumping blood into various parts, into all the parts of our body. And our lungs are also, they are working. So they are breathing in. They are breathing in air and getting in oxygen and then sending out the carbon dioxide. So basically, it's like a car. In a car, you are breathing in the air and then burning the fuel and sending the exhaust. But there, it has to be two different paths. The inlet and exhaust won't be the same. But here, for us, Krishna has designed our body in such a way where it is the same path. So you are breathing in and then sending out. So, but those things are all working. Our liver is working all the time, it's functioning. Our kidney is filtering our blood. So all these various parts of our body, the organs of our body, they are working, but they are not in our control. In our control means it's not in our direct control. Of course, indirectly, what we eat is going to directly affect their performance, affect their performance. But these legs, hands, and voice, genital, and anus, they are all, we are able to control. So they are working senses, karmendriyas. And Krishna is saying that we should be able to regulate these senses. So that means we should be able to move the hand only when we want to move, for specific reasons, for specific duties. Otherwise, our hands should not move. We should be able to use our legs to walk from one place to another place. Only when we are doing it for Krishna, only for satisfying, for pleasing Krishna. Otherwise, we should not be moving our legs. So we should not be moving our hands for no reason. We should not be moving our legs for no reason. So that means they should be regulated. Niyamya. Niyamya means regulation. Niyamya arabate Arjuna. So then when we do whatever we do, whatever actions we are doing, whatever activities we are doing, when they are regulated, so that is known as karma yoga. Karmendriyahi karma yoga. That's why yastvindriyani manassa niyamya arabate Arjuna karmendriyahi karma yogam asaktaha savisisyate. Asaktaha means without any attachment. Without any attachment to the results of our activities, if we are able to act without any attachment, so that is what is known as karma yoga. Karmendriyahi karma yogam asaktaha savisisyate. So now we understand very well, very clearly from this sloka that what is meant by karma yoga. Using our working senses to perform activities, to regulate in a regulated way, regulating our senses. So that is known as karma yoga. For example, if I am taking some food and putting in my mouth and then I am chewing and then eating, so that is a karma, that is an action. So that should be regulated means, first of all, with the hands, we should prepare that food with our hands. So there is a karma, there is an action. And then offer that prasadam, offer that food to Krishna with love and devotion. And then with our hands, worship Krishna. So that's a regulated activity. And then we offer to Krishna. And then after that, we honor that prasadam. Then that food becomes a prasadam. Prasadam means it's Krishna's mercy. Then with the same hand, you take that prasadam food and then put it in our mouth and then chew it and then swallow it. All those things are all karma. Everything because our senses are active. So our senses we are using our senses. the hands, legs, and everything. So these are known as karma yoga. So when we perform these activities without any attachment to the results, asaktam tesu karmasu, asaktaga savisishyate. So asaktaga means when we are not attached to the results which are going to come out of these activities. When we do an action, that's going to produce some results. But if we are not affected by those results, that means if we are not attached to those results, that means if we do that activity for Krishna, so then you call it as karma yogam. What is yogam? Yoga means being equal in both success and failure. So yoga means not affected by the results. So that is what is called yogam. So what is karma? Karma means an activity what we are doing. Just now I have explained what karma means. Using our karmendriyas when we do it. When we do an action, so that is called karma. So when we connect these two words, karma and yogam. So karma and yogam, when you connect these two words, so that means you are performing an activity without being affected by the results of that activity. So that is what is known as karma yoga. So you are not affected by the results of our activities. So that's why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, 47th sloka, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Karmanya eva adhikaraste. Adhikaram. So adhikara means you have a right. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Karmanya eva adhikaraste. Ma paleshu kadasana. But we don't have the right over the results of the activities. Because to perform an activity, we need to spend energy. Without energy, we cannot move our legs. We cannot move our legs. We cannot move our hands. We cannot do any activity. For example, if a person is feeling very sick, lying on the bed, so not able to move, having high fever or something, so we cannot do any activity. So that way, when we are very strong, when everything is going good, great, when we are very healthy, if we are able to do an activity, we need to have an energy to do that activity. So that energy is coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of energy. Prabhasmi Sasi Suryayo. So Prabhasmi means the light. So the light from the sun and moon. Prabhasmi Sasi Suryayo. So this whole earth gets energy from the sun. That energy which is coming from the sun only is converted into various forms of energy, and finally it's ending up on our plate as prasadam, food. So that is the energy which is directly coming from the sun. So Krishna is saying that I am the source of the light from the sun. So Krishna is the energy. Krishna is giving us the energy. So in order to perform an activity, so we need energy, and that energy is given by Krishna. So that way we cannot claim the results. We have the right to perform our duty, but we are not the cause for the results. Ma karma pala heturbu. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. Ma karma pala heturbu. So that way, we are not the cause for the results of our activities. And everything, to do anything and everything, we need Krishna's mercy. Krishna gives us the energy, Krishna gives us the strength, Krishna gives us the knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot perform an activity. So to perform a duty, to perform an activity, we need to have knowledge. So how are we going to get that knowledge? The knowledge, we need to use our knowledge acquiring senses, jnanendriyas. Only from the jnanendriyas, we will be able to get the knowledge. So we have to see, We have to hear, smell, taste, touch. All these senses should work. Again, we are not designing our eyes, ears, and all those things to get our knowledge. It's all Krishna has designed. Everything Krishna is giving us. So that way, we need to have the knowledge acquiring senses to get the knowledge, and we need to have the working senses to work, and finally the results are produced with our activity. So then how can we think that, how can we claim the results? How can we think that I am the doer of that activity? The result has come because I did it. No, we didn't do it. And also we are not doing any activity. Only the three modes of material nature are doing all the activities. But Krishna is also saying that Mate Sangos Akarmani. Because never give up doing the activity. Never be attached to not doing your activity, not doing your duty. That's what Krishna is saying. Because that's also not going to be good for us. So this is science, full of science. We understand very well from these slokas that Krishna gives us the knowledge. Our knowledge acquiring senses are working. Because of that, we are able to get the knowledge. And Krishna gives us the energy. Because we have the energy to move our hands and legs, we are able to work. So that way, that energy is coming from Krishna. So that's why our karmendriyas are working. And we have a right to perform the duty. And we cannot simply claim the results saying that I own this. We don't own anything in this world. We don't own anything other than Krishna. We own Krishna. We can say that I own Krishna. That's the right thing to say. So that way, Krishna's causeless mercy, we are able to do all these activities. So we have to perform our duty, but we have to know what is our duty, and we should perform only prescribed duties. We cannot do anything what we want and say that I am doing duty. That's not correct. We have to do only prescribed duties as given in the Shastra. This Bhagavad Gita is the Shastra. So in this Bhagavad Gita, in this Shastra, Krishna has prescribed duties for us. What to do, how to do, when to do, everything. Very clearly Krishna is teaching us. So, Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayohi akarmanaha sarira yatra pichate na prasiddhayet akarmanaha. That's what Krishna is teaching us, telling us. So do your prescribed duties, perform your prescribed duties. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayohi akarmanaha. Because performing your duty, performing your activities are better than not doing anything. So karma jyayohi akarmanaha. Because sarira yatra pichate na prasaddayet akarmanaha. Having obtained this body, one should work at least to maintain our body. Simply if we eat and sleep and eat to sleep, eat, sleep, our body, we will die very soon. At least to maintain our body, we should at least walk. Every day walking for an hour is going to be very, very good for our health. So, like that way, there is a duty, there is an activity, there is an action. So even to maintain our body, we need to act, we need to perform duty. Simply sitting idle is not going to be any help for us at all. We will die very soon, very fast. So that way, we need to know what are our prescribed duties and perform our prescribed duties. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayohi akarmanaga sarira yatra pichate na prasaddayet akarmanaka. So after getting this body, there is nothing good going to happen for us if we are not acting, if we are not working. So but the problem here is, when we are attached to the results of the activities, when our mind thinks about the material sense objects, then the problem is that we will immediately come under the control of the mode of passion, the rajoguna. So when we are controlled by the three modes of nature, rajoguna, then we cannot perform our prescribed duty without any attachment to the results, because the reason rajoguna is controlling us, because we are having attachment to the results, because we are thinking about the results. Rajo ragatmakam viddhi trishna sanga samudbhavam. This rajoguna itself is produced from the raga, from attachment. So that way, if you don't have Bhagavad Gita knowledge, if you are attached to material sense objects, if you are attached to material things in this material world without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then we will be controlled by the mode of nature, the mode of passion, also the mode of ignorance. So the three modes of material nature are going to control us. And then because from the Rajogunam, the Kama and Krodha are formed. They are produced. They are produced from Rajoguna. Kama yesa Krodha yesa Rajoguna samudbhavagam. Mahasano mahapapma vidyena miga vairinam. So they are sinful. They are sinful enemy. Mahapapma. Mahasana, all devouring. They are all devouring sinful enemy. Mahasana, Mahapapma, Vidyena Mega Vairina. That's what Krishna answered for Arjuna's question. Arjuna asked question to Krishna that Atakkena prayektoyam papam charati purushaha anichanna pivarsneya baladiva niyojitaha. Atakkena prayuktoyam papam charati purushagam. Anichanapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. So by what one is impelled to sinful acts unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So for that Krishna is answering that it is by Kama and Krodha, by lust and anger. They are formed from the Rajoguna. And they cover the knowledge. Avurtam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya duspurena analena cha. So avurtam jnanam etena, they cover our knowledge. Avurtam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina. It is an eternal enemy of a jnani, a person who has got knowledge, knowledgeful person. Kama rupena kaunteya, its form is kama. Its rupa, its form is kama. Kama rupena kaunteya, duspurena analena cha. It is never satisfied. So it burns like fire. Duspurena analena cha. That's what Krishna is saying. So then Krishna taught us that where this lust and anger are there in our body, where they are situated, how they enter into our body, where they are there. Like any infection, like the virus, like the coronavirus, it gets into our body, where it goes, how it goes into the cells, and how all such things. So like this Kama and Krodha, where they are seated in our body, where they are situated. Indriyani mano buddhi asyadhistanam muchyate yetaihi vimohayati ese jnanam avritya dehinam. That's what Krishna is saying. Indriyani mano buddhi asyadhisthana muchyate. Mind, senses and intelligence. There is senses, mind, intelligence. Indriyani mano buddhi. Indriyani mano buddhi asyadhisthana muchyate. They are seated in these things. Etaihi vimohayati esa jnanam avritya dehinam. So from there they are sitting and then they are bewildering us. Vimohayati esa jnanam avritya dehinam, by covering our real knowledge. That's what we studied in the 40th sloka last week. So now we are continuing from this sloka number 41. Krishna is saying that Tasmat tvam indriyani adau niyamya bharatarsabha papmanam prajahiyenam jnana vijnana nasanam. Therefore, tasmatvam indriyani adav niyamya bharatarshava. Therefore, from the beginning, adav means from the beginning, you control, niyamya means you regulate your indriyani, your senses. So that's why tasmatvam indriyani adav niyamya bharatarshava. So we should regulate our senses. That's what in this sloka, 6th sloka from the 7th sloka, I just from the beginning I was explaining that yastu indriyani manasa niyamyarabate arjuna karmendriya yogam asaktaga savisishyate. That's exactly same thing Krishna is again here in the sloka number 41. Krishna is saying that tasmatvam indriyani adav niyamya bharatarsava papmanam prajagiyenam jnana vijnana nasanam. Therefore, from the beginning, you control, you regulate your senses. Tasmatvam indriyani adav niyamya bharatarsava papmanam prajagiyenam. So this is curb this symbol of sin. So papmanam prajagiyenam, this symbol of lust. So symbol of sin. So lust is the great symbol of sin, and you curb it. So jnana vijnana nasanam, because they are going to destroy the jnana and vijnana. So jnana vijnana nasanam. So that's why we need to gain this jnana vijnana. This Bhagavad Gita is the jnana vijnana, both theoretical and practical knowledge. Jnana vijnana. So Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita that I am giving you this knowledge. Jnanam te yakam sa vijnanam idam vakshyami ase sataga yajnatva nega bhuyonyad jnatavyam avasisyate. So I am giving you both jnana and vijnana. So, and also in the 9th chapter also Krishna said that idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sagitam yajnatva mokshase asubha. So that way this jnana and vijnanam, this knowledge, both theoretical and practical knowledge, we are getting from Bhagavad Gita. So because our knowledge is getting destroyed by this lust, this anger, so they are the symbol of sin. So we need to curb them. We need to curb them. That's why Krishna is saying that. So now in the next sloka, Krishna is giving us the relationship between mind, senses, body, senses, mind, intelligence, and soul. So in the sloka number 42, Krishna is saying that Indriyani parani ahuhu Indriyebhya param manaha Manasastu para buddhir Yo buddhehe paratastu saha. Indriyani parani ahuru means the senses are superior to dull matter. So our body is just made up of the grass body that is just dull matter. So the senses are superior. Indriyani paranya. So in our body, if all organs are working very great, but if our senses means the both knowledge acquiring senses and working senses, if both of them, they are not working. So that means all the 10 senses. If you are not able to see anything, not able to hear anything, not able to smell or taste or touch anything, but still our body can perfectly work. Still we can live. But what is the use of that life? And similarly, if we are not able to move our legs, hands, and our neck, voice, all those things, if we are not able to control our genital and anus, so that means that life is like in a vegetative state. It is of no use. So that's why Indriyani parani agu, the senses are superior to body. And Indriyebhyaga param managa. So compared to the senses, the mind is even superior. Mind is superior. Because without mind working very well, so if we are mentally ill, so then even if our body works very well, our senses are working very well, we won't be able to do anything which makes sense. So we cannot make use of our senses. So that way the mind is superior than the senses. So we have to do things which make sense. So if our mind is not working, then we cannot do anything which makes sense. So that's why senses are inferior to mind. Mind is superior than senses. Manasastu para buddhi. So compared to the mind, so buddhi, intelligence is better. Intelligence is better than mind. So that's why manasastu para buddhi, because we need to have intelligence. Without proper intelligence, even if our mind and senses are working very well, our body is working, but we won't be able to do things in the right direction. If we don't have intelligence, then if we will do all kinds of foolish acts, all kinds of things foolishly. So that's why intelligence is better than mind. And of course, soul is much above. Soul is superior. Soul is superior than intelligence. So that way, indriyani parani ahur, indriyebhyaka param managa, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe paratastu saha. Then in the next sloka, the last sloka in the third chapter, there is sloka number 43. Krishna is teaching us that Yevam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanamatmana jahi satrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. That's what Krishna is saying. Evam buddhe param buddhva. So knowing that intelligence is better than mind, so we need to study, we need to control our mind with the help of intelligence. Samstabhya atmanam atmana. So by intelligence, we need to control our mind. So that's why I have already mentioned many times in the past lectures that intelligence we will get only from Krishna, only by serving Krishna, only by showing our devotion unto Krishna. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. So only tesam satata yuktana bhajatam priti purvam. Only by worshipping Krishna with love and devotion, then only we are going to get intelligence. Dadami buddhi. So I give the intelligence. Krishna is saying that dadami buddhi yogam yena mam upayanti. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. So that way, if we study this Bhagavad Gita and love Krishna, surrender unto Krishna, serve Krishna, so then gain intelligence. Then with the intelligence, then we need to control our mind. So evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana. If we are able to gain intelligence, if we are able to control our mind, then we will be able to regulate our senses. So that's what gain intelligence, control mind, and regulate senses. If we are able to regulate our senses, then we will be able to destroy, we will be able to win. That is Jahi Satru, Mahabaho. We will be able to conquer our enemy. So that's what Jahi Satru. Our Satru is this Kama and Krodha. Kama Yesa, Krodha Yesa. So Jahi Satru, Mahabaho, Kama Rupam, Durasadam, which is formidable. So that is Durasadam. So Jahi Satru, Mahabaho, Kama Rupam, Durasadam. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and we are understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we will be able to fully surrender unto Krishna and gain intelligence from Krishna. And then with that intelligence, we will be able to control our mind, and then we'll be able to regulate our senses. Then we will be able to conquer our enemy. So that is this Kama Rupa. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished third chapter today. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and I will discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.